Hello, welcome. Okay, let's see who we've got here. Okay. There we go. Natasha, I got you on.
Hey.
To be your host. I don't see you though.
I know.
Okay.
Oh, you have to start my video.
Okay, I was wondering. Okay, does it work now? I feel like the beginning of these things are always so funny with the technical side. But
All right, there we go. All right, we're on.
okay. Well, welcome. Okay, should we give people a couple minutes or should we just kind of jump in? I always feel like when we're doing this live, it's so nice to be like, we'll just wait a second. But I also want to be respectful of time and for the recording and not sit here for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump in.
Okay. I like it. Well, welcome. This is what, Beautycounter for moms? That is the topic that we're going to be covering today. Natasha and we are both moms. I started my business before I was a mom, but really have been active in it since becoming a mom. And we just have a heart for moms so much. And we wanted to make a really specific webinar that just talks just to you. We want to share our story with you. We want to just really encourage you that if you feel like this is a business that you want to start, that it's the business for you, that you can do it. We want to just have you feel empowered, not only with information, but with confidence too going forward in the business. So the Beautycounter business truly is for everybody. It's for people who aren't moms too, but we're talking to you moms. And before we jump in, I guess I should say logistically, if you have questions, we're going to do them at the end. We'll do a Q&A, but put them in the chat box because we want them there. We want to see them. I think there's a Q&A box. Yes. So there's a Q&A box that I can look at, and then we will get to them at the end. So whenever you want to pop them in, pop them in. Okay, so this is for any mom who feels like they just want a little bit of extra part-time work to have an income, whether it be smaller or larger. It's all within the scope of this business. And having you do something a few hours, like 1 to 2 hours a week, 10 to 20 hours a week. This can be a full-time gig. This can be a part-time gig. This can also be a hobby too. And I don't want to discount that because I think that though this business has incredible potential, a lot of times you might say, and we encounter people a lot that go, I just have a couple hours a week and I want this to be something on the side. And you'll be surprised how many people start their businesses like that and get so surprised as it grows. But I want to let you know, if you want to do this as a hobby, start for the discount, you can. We are here for you in that. And you also can do this as a mom with childcare or without childcare. We both have experience with that, and really for the both of us, and I can speak for the both of us, we want to, and the reason we stay home is we really want to be there for our kids and spend as much time as we can with them. So I have 5 hours of childcare right now, and although sometimes I think I'm a little bit crazy for running 2 businesses and like 15 hours a week with just a little bit of childcare, it is what we want for our family and what works best for our family. So, okay, I'll pass it on to you, Natasha.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I mean, like Megan said, I feel like everyone comes into this business with different goals and for different reasons, and we're here to support you in that, right? And the beauty of this business with Beautycounter is that they really do a great job at equipping you to fit this business into whatever your context looks like. So that's kind of the beauty of it, is that at least, and I've seen this in my own life, and I've seen it in countless others, even in our larger team, where the business really ebbs and flows with what you have going on in your life. You know, seasons come and seasons go, and they change and they ebb and flow. And the beauty of it is that you kind of have kind of a recurring system going with your clients and your members, and just being, if you're consistent with it, you see that it really can grow with you even as seasons change. Hopefully that makes sense. But I think sometimes as moms, we can feel like, okay, I can feel on some days really overwhelmed, because let's face it, our jobs as moms, our job as a mom is sometimes really demanding, and oftentimes really demanding physically and emotionally. It takes a lot of work, and we can feel like, I just don't have the margin to add one more thing to my plate. But then on the other hand, you have days where you're like, actually looking around like, what can I be doing with my time? And it actually would be kind of nice to have something to invest my free margin hours into, and maybe earn some part-time income to add to my family. That would give us a little more wiggle room in that budget. That would be such a blessing. Maybe we could put our daughter in soccer or ballet or whatever, and we don't have to feel like that's a stretch. Or if something breaks, if we need to replace our roof, God forbid, if you're a homeowner or anything like that, and you just realize it would be so great to be able to use those chunks of time throughout my day, in my motherhood and being at home. Or even if you have another job, part-time or full-time, you can work that in. And that's kind of the beauty of it. So I wanted to begin by just sharing why I'm passionate about it. And I feel like I could share in many different ways, but I'll just narrow it down to a few. Why I'm so passionate about what Beautycounter has done for me as a mom. And just to give you a little bit of background, I joined Beautycounter in January of 2018. And actually, right as I was joining, my husband and I started considering a potential move that we now have actually gone through. We've gone ahead and moved to a more expensive state. And I knew having a more reliable income would actually be a tremendous blessing to our family, for our personal finances, and also for our goals and what this move was about, to be a part of ministry here. And so that was kind of a vision that I had of like, okay, if I can add a little bit of time into this, and it, if it could grow to be successful, what could it do for our family? And that really piqued my interest. Secondly, I fell in love with the mission of the company. As I started digging deeper and learning more about the integrity of Beautycounter and what they're about, even from an advocacy standpoint, I really fell in love with just what they're doing, and the fact that they are trying to, even through changing the legislation and sending consultants to DC to lobby and meet with members of Congress, that we really are the leaders in this clean beauty movement. And I saw that firsthand, and it was really important to me, and still is, that all people have access to safe and healthy products for their family, from food all the way to cleaning products, to the things that we, wash our kids with in their bath at night, everything and everything in between. I feel like everyone deserves access to that, and Beautycounter truly is working for a day when that is true. And more changes are happening because of that. And so I wanted to be a part of that. And lastly, I also really love the products. I love the products for myself, and I really wanted a discount. And so I thought, okay, if I can get the discount, I'm already going to be telling my friends about this. Like, I actually had friends comment on my skin, like, what are you doing with your skin? Or, you're not even wearing very much makeup. Like, your skin looks great. And I was telling them, well, it's Beautycounter. So if they wanted it too, they could potentially support me in that. And so I just thought, why not? Like, let's just try this. At the time, I really did not have very many hours to dedicate towards Beautycounter. I was also very actively building another business, and all the other commitments of life. But I thought, okay, let's go for it and kind of see where it goes. So Since starting Beautycounter, like Megan mentioned, I actually haven't had any consistent childcare, with the exception of like maybe every random, a random Saturday here or there where Jordan, my husband, will take the kids and I will run to Panera or Starbucks and kind of get some focused work done. But that is pretty rare. On the regular, I have grown and my business has taken shape through what I would consider to be my work hours, but really they are just the margin hours of motherhood. So I would kind of break that down into 4 different categories. I would say that that is early mornings before the kids wake up. Built-in playtime, we've been really intentional to sort of train our kids and encourage them to play independently and to play together and with each other. I have 2, by the way, 6-year-old and 4-year-old. So built-in playtime for the kids, their quiet time or rest time, whatever you call it, or nap time, kind of just depending on the ages of your children, and then the occasional night and weekend. So does that mean that I use all of those areas of margin and fill it all with Beautycounter work? Absolutely not. I don't think that that's wise, and I'm a huge proponent, if you know me at all, of Sabbath and rest and true margin, especially as a mom. I mean, obviously we know this job is hard and it's tiring and it's not for the faint of heart, and so we need to rest. But what it does mean is that I'm very intentional and consistent, and I try to be efficient with the time that I do have to be successful. So I just want to give a snapshot of what that kind of looks like for me right now in this season. Obviously, we know with kids, seasons change. It can feel like very often as their needs change and as they grow, and maybe they have school activities or just different things in life. But I'll just give a snapshot of what it kind of looks like for me currently on a weekly basis and then on a daily basis. And hopefully this gives you some practical just insight into how it could potentially look for you. So for me, on Sunday evenings, I pull out my planner. I still use a physical paper planner, and I actually will get on my email. Beautycounter is really great about sending a weekly email on Sundays with all of the upcoming things for that week. And then also, in addition to that, our managing director, Kate, on our team, she sends a weekly email as well of just things that you need to know that you may have missed, and that would help you. So I take those 2 resources that Beautycounter already sends us, take out my planner, and I look at everything that I've got going on for the week in all areas of life. And I just start filling in the week of what we have going on. And in that, I also schedule the things that I want to be focusing on and working towards for my business for that week. So I personally really like to front load my week, which means that I put my hardest, most time intensive, and the tasks that I need the most brain capacity for, we'll say, for Monday and Tuesday. I really try to like load Monday and Tuesday up with as much as I can within reason, to kind of get things really done. That's when I find that I'm the most well rested, right, coming off of the weekend, and having that break with my husband home, and just being able to Sabbath. I'm way more well rested on Monday morning than I am like on a Friday afternoon. And so I try to fit as much concentrated work on Monday, Tuesdays as I can. Wednesday is our homeschool co-op day. So we are gone out of the house most of the day. And then when we come home, I crash, I rest, I don't do any work at all, with the exception of the occasional social media post, which I can do from laying in my bed. So Wednesdays is pretty much a 0 work day for me. And then Thursday and Friday are really days where I sort of take care of errands, things that I need to do for the home, whether that's cleaning or grocery shopping, meal planning, stuff like that. And then as far as work goes, I really try to kind of get to the things that maybe I missed earlier in the week or just didn't get to because life happened, or tie up loose ends, or even will follow up on some tasks that maybe were initiated on Monday or Tuesday and can kind of tie those up for the week. So for example, I might follow up with a customer about their order. I might answer emails on Thursday or Friday, and then finish up anything that wasn't done beforehand. And then on a daily basis, we kind of have a rhythm to our life. I have worked very hard over the last couple of years to just kind of establish a daily rhythm that my kids really fall into pretty naturally and have come to expect and learn that this is how we do our life. So after breakfast, we kind of all go upstairs, get dressed, get ready for the day, and then my kids just naturally go off and play. And they would play for a really long time, honestly, together and like without me, but we have to get school started. We homeschool. So I let them play from about 8 to 9:30. 9:30, just kind of depending on the day. And honestly, that chunk of time is time where I get myself ready. I put on my makeup, I do my hair, I put my clothes on. Sometimes I'll throw a load of laundry in, I'll do a chore. Oftentimes I utilize that hour to just get like 1 or 2 tasks done for my business. It's just a great time to check in, to answer some messages, and just kind of get something done to move my business forward. Then we get our homeschool day started, we go about our day, lunch, then my kids do a quiet time. And their quiet time is about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, around somewhere around there. And they each separately go to their, rooms and playroom and listen to their audiobooks and do their little, individual activities. And that is when I really do my focused, for the most part, without interruption, work. And I had just tell them, mommy is working, this is your quiet time. And that's the expectation, is that we all get a break in the middle of the day. And I think every, mom is pretty familiar with that. And so I utilize that time most days to get some focused work done. And then after their quiet time is actually their built-in screen time. So we really don't do screens before then, during the day, unless we're utilizing it for school, but they can watch a show after their quiet time. And so that's on for at least an hour. And I utilize that time to kind of wrap up and tie up any loose ends that maybe I was, quiet time ended and I wasn't quite ready to be done. And so I'll wrap those things up. And then I start transitioning back into home life and getting ourselves ready to take care of bedtime routines and dinner, getting ready for my husband to come home, and just being more homeward focused and kind of shut down the social media, shut down the email, shut down, what I can for the day. And then of course there's like random times of margin that kind of just pop up here and there. Like I utilize Meghan and I will utilize a walkie-talkie app and send voice messages to our team members. So I might listen to a message or respond as I'm driving, running errands, and as it fits, because it doesn't always fit. But as my daughter is in ballet for an hour and I'm just sitting in the waiting room, I might take a stack of thank you cards and write some thank you cards to customers. So just trying to utilize here and there chunks of time and being really intentional with that to just take active steps to move my business forward. Yeah, that's all I got.
I love it. I'm just going to add my story, but I'm not going to touch on what you said because I could, but it would look really similar. So I am by education a chiropractor, and 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I left practice because I knew I wanted to stay at home with my kids. I didn't have kids yet, and so it was just, for so many reasons, worked out at that time to come home and to launch my business. And so I launched my business as a health coaching business because that's what I was doing in practice. I was doing less adjusting and more functional medicine, which I loved. And then I got pregnant with my daughter a month later. 2 months later. 2 months later. And so I realized when I was pregnant that although I like health coaching, I didn't want my schedule to be dictated by having really like appointments on the schedule that were not flexible. I didn't want that because I knew that as much as I wanted to say that this little baby was not going to throw my schedule up for a loop, I knew that it would. And so I wanted to be able to work my business in the time that I decided to work my business, instead of being like, okay, this is a day that's just chock full of calls, but somebody's sick. And so that was kind of the deciding point I feel like the Lord led us to. Right as I was launching my business, a month before I got pregnant, I started with Beautycounter. And it was going to be a wonderful affiliate program that I wanted to make $200 a month. That was my goal, because I loved that they were a company that I could trust. So Beautycounter is not only clean, our never list went from 1,500 to 1,800 ingredients just last week, I think. And and so I could trust them. I could tell people, go to this website, choose whatever you want, and it's trustworthy. It's not like, well, you probably shouldn't choose this, but like there's this one foundation that's okay, but like everything else is bad. Like I didn't want that. I was kind of cherry picking other low performing natural products out there from like the co-op or the Whole Foods. And it was really difficult. And I thought, okay, I loved that they tested for heavy metals. So Beautycounter batch tests 3 to 5 times. Natasha, you might be able to correct me on like the exact number. Every time that they put together a cosmetic. And that is huge in the beauty world. Most don't test. And if they do, their standards are really high. And they just say, we tested and it was below this like way too high of a standard. And I worked a lot with heavy metal toxicity and detox in practice. And so when I heard that I could recommend a pink lipstick that was not going to contain heavy metals or below detectable limits, I was all in. I was like, sign me up, give me some lipstick, and send my mom some too, because that woman loves her pink lipstick. And because we've all ingested too much heavy metals from lipstick in our days. And that's kind of how it started. Then fast forward, the business became I launched a podcast. And so I have this Just Enjoy Health business. And then I have my other Beautycounter business, and they go together, but they do run kind of separately too. And so I feel like, and the whole reason why I started my business in the first place was because chiropractic school is insanely expensive and student loans are really big. My husband and I have joked for 9 years because we, thanks to Beautycounter, are debt-free, student loan debt-free as of December 2019, so much thanks to Beautycounter. But we always joked we had 2 different homes because for a time being, our student loan payments were a lot higher than our rent and then became the same as our mortgage. And so we've always like paid for 2 houses and never had 2 houses. That was kind of our joke. And so we needed the income. I had to work, and we thought, what can I do that fits into how we want to run our family, but also that brings income. And so over the years, Beautycounter has grown into more than I thought it would, more than that $200, which is so funny to think about now. But that was my goal, and I just kept sharing it, and it has grown a lot from there. But I work about 12 to 15 hours a week, depending on the week, on both Beautycounter and my other business. So depending on what needs of the business, it depends on where the time is. And so if one day I might not do anything Beautycounter, and I will say that, Natasha, you have more balance than I do on not working in all of your margins. I work in probably too many margins right now, but it is just the nature of the season that we are in, I feel like. And then I have 5 hours of childcare once a week. So I have a Wednesday work day, as we call it, and I get as much done, and I try to do my really focused deep work on that day, stuff that I can't do with kids around, and then try to do power hours here and there, whether it's during nap time, quiet time, or evenings. And that's just kind of how it works. And I feel like you can do this business how you want to do it and how it fits into your family. And we're going to share a couple of people that we know and how, just like briefly, how they run their businesses, because theirs look different than ours look. And we just wanted to showcase that.
Right. So getting into that, we wanted to kind of give you a couple of case studies, so to speak, to kind of show you some different examples of how this could practically fit into your life, because there's so many different scenarios and ways that you could fit this in. But we just wanted to give you a couple different examples outside of our own stories, so that you could hopefully picture some parts of your own life kind of in this. So I talked with another member of our team, we'll call her Ashley, and she has been with Beautycounter for 4 years. Her kids, she has 3 kids. They're now 8, 6, and 4. They're all in school full time. And she moved fairly recently from one state to another state. So her business is mainly built online. She does have some sort of in real life like connections that they've seen what she's kind of posted on social media and have come to her and are her clients. But a lot of what she does, she focuses on, educating and doing a lot through via social media and online. She says she works about 10 to 15 hours a week. She also volunteers at her kids' school quite a bit. She also does outside business coaching unrelated to Beautycounter, and also all the other things like prioritizing working out and taking care of her home and friendships and all those things, right? She has been at the director or above level of Beautycounter, which I don't know how much we want to really get into that, but it's basically just a higher leadership position within the company. She's been kind of at that level for about 2.5 years now. So she does make a part-time income in about 10 hours a week, which is really great. She now leads a team of about 100 people. And kind of what I want to point out about her story in particular is that this has been 4 years in the making, where she has a team of 100 and she's making this part-time income and able to, contribute to many, many different facets of their family life. And that's just the power of consistent effort over a long period of time. This in no way is like a get rich quick thing or any kind of thing. It's truly a matter of faithfulness and building consistently and faithfully over time in small chunks. And so I always tell people, it doesn't matter if, like, you might think you need hours upon hours, and you really don't. If you have 30 minutes a day, if you're focused for those 30 minutes a day, you can build a significant business over time. So I think having the patience and having the endurance to just be faithful, to share, to educate, to lead with that education about the need for safer products and safer homes and how that has an effect on our health, and sharing our advocacy efforts, and then sharing the solution with high performing, really great quality products. Just doing that consistently over time, even in a small window of time, really has a big impact.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I am going to share, trying to think, who should I name her? I'll name her
Brittany.
Brittany.
Call her Brittany.
Anyways, we're not making these people up.
No, they're real people.
They're for real. We're just keeping them anonymous. So one thing I wanted to say, because this is kind of ties into Brittany's story, is when I joined Beautycounter, I joined because the clean products, that was more important to me than the performance of the products. But that does not mean that it has to be you. So with Brittany's story, she has a lot of people who don't care that much about clean products. They like that they're clean. They like that they're not adding toxins to them, but they just really like the products. And I think that's an interesting thing to mention, because Natasha and I both come from just like having health journeys and being more holistic in the first place. But that doesn't mean that you have to start there. You can just really like the company and what we're doing, and enjoy the fact that it's clean, and your life can be right at the beginning of your clean and holistic and more natural, like, healthcare journey. And that is totally fine. Because I feel like I sometimes can get a little bit blinders onto that, because that is so much of how we live our life. But we've done that since, like, I've done that, plus then my husband, once we got married, for over 10 years now. And so, not Beautycounter, natural living. I haven't been at Beautycounter that long because it hasn't been around for that long. But so we'll talk about Brittany. So she actually has a private social media account. It's not public. It's not very big, but she started it because she wanted access if her clients wanted, and so that she was able just to share it like online, visually, with graphics, in a really easy way. And so she's not a super public person. She doesn't share her kids' faces a lot. And that's where she felt comfortable. And she's grown a really great business in that time. I think she's been with the company for about 3 years too. And so she has no childcare. She's got 3 kids, and she works about 8 hours a week and fits all of that within. She does a lot of like power hours at night. But she doesn't work all the time either, because that's not what she wants. She hasn't wanted to get childcare, and she's done really well because she's super authentic and just really good. She builds mostly in person, but then helps support her business with that that private social media account so she can have people refer to her to start following her. And so that's kind of a little bit more strategy, but I wanted to say that because hers is built a lot in person and then supported via social media. So you don't have to have a big social media following. You can decide to join Instagram privately and do this mostly Beautycounter. And I think that's where we can, maybe like we can get clouded a bit because we see somebody with a huge following that starts X, Y, and Z and they grow really fast because they've put the legwork in for years on another business, and whatever thing that they launch, whether it be Beautycounter or otherwise, it seems like it grows really, really fast because they've been growing trust and all that for a long time. But that's a very, very small percentage of Beautycounter consultants, or anybody. So don't feel like I don't have a following, I don't have this, that, or the other things to like inhibit you from starting, because you can grow it in so many different ways. So I want to just share with you some details and then kind of go to the keys to success, as I am going to call them.
And before you do that, Megan, let me just remind you guys, if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A little box down below. That way, when you get done with that, we can kind of jump into Q&A.
Perfect. Okay. So my spoiler alert to the keys to success is that you define your own success, what success looks like for you. So I realized it's like, it kind of sounded like cheesy when I said this, like, let me just say that, but details. So to join to be a consultant, it's $98. It is not a huge joining fee. If you were to so I come from the chiropractic world. If you were to start your brick and mortar chiropractic office, like, you probably are in the six figures, and it'd be really hard to do it not in the six figures. And so to jump into a business for $98, plus if you want a starter kit, which is a collection of skincare products, there are some makeup items too that are deeply discounted. So as consultants, we get 25% off, but the starter kits are somewhere in the 40-ish% off. And so it's a great way to start, because then you get to try all the products and really getting your hands on the products, even if it's not a line that is great for your skin. Like Counter Control is for more oily skin. I have really dry skin, but I loved trying Counter Control and seeing how the products work, even though that's not the thing I use morning and night, but I can now speak to it. And that cleanser, I love the Counter Control cleanser. It's just not, especially in the winter, not great for me, but I love it. So $98 to join. The starter kits range in price, and we can send you details on that and chat with you about some incentives going on with Beautycounter right now in terms of starter kits. So reach out to Natasha or I, whoever invited you, and we will get you that information on the starter kits. When you join, you also get your personal website, which is just your consultant's link, so that people can start ordering from you. And then you get a little welcome kit with some business aids. And then what is awesome is you get the overnight resurfacing peel and the 9 to 5 color intense lipstick, which I think value pretty close to that $98 mark. Anyways, just shy of that. And then in order to stay active as a consultant, you do need to sell or purchase yourself $1,200 worth of product every 6 months. Doesn't have to be new customers or anything. It can be repeat customers. And so you don't have to buy anything per month. You don't need to reach a certain threshold per month that you personally order. You just have to hit that 1,200 in 6 months, which if you buy a starter kit is very easy to do the first 6 months. And if you build just a handful of customers that you're really engaged with and provide great customer service, you're able to achieve it as you go along. So it's not a huge hurdle, just that 1,200 either. It's about $200 a month. And there are some months that I will cover that myself if I need to stock up on stuff. And then our team, we have a really great team. Just gonna throw that out there and say that there's a lot of support. It's a lot of community. It's not competitive. We really want to support each other, sharing great ideas that work for us, really how to build your business, how to do it in the time that you want, in the way that you want. There's not a pressure to be like, okay, this needs to be your 20-hour-a-week job or your 40-hour-a-week job. Not at all. You can do it however you want to. And yes, then there's also counter training, which is so incredible. Beautycounter HQ put all of this together. Like, we are not going to reinvent the wheel to get you started in your business. Beautycounter has a whole onboarding and counter training for you to use. So we use it personally when new products come out and new things launch, so we can be well trained. And I will say, if you're feeling like product education, like, I don't know all these products, I don't know how to use them, is like a stopping point for you, or maybe a holdup, you don't have to be concerned about that. Beautycounter has all of that for you. We're here to help also, and get to know that. We have a big Facebook group where you can search dry skin and come up with all sorts of great stuff too, whatever you need. But we don't want to reinvent the wheel in terms of Beautycounter, because they have it all there for you. And that's kind of brings me into like my keys to success is, I think, number one, and we will say this for so many areas of our life, but our business lives too, is just consistency. If you decide I want to do this business, and if you want to do it that 2 hours a week or 10 hours a week, if you are consistent and you are consistent in sharing it and reaching out to people, sharing the different sales, what products you like, your routines, what Beautycounter is doing right now. We just released a 12-minute documentary on mica and mining of mica. It is incredible. It's so good. And I'm so proud to be a part of this company who is doing that and following this really tricky supply chain. And where was I going with that? I just got off track with mica. Anyways, I don't know. Be consistent. Yeah, share mica. That's what it was. And that, I think that's the thing that's been the biggest for me, is just to step out and to continuously share it, because I am that in love with the products and in love with the company. And it's a really fun business to be a part of. Like, I will be honest, as much as I love doing my podcast, that is like it's very lonely work, talking into a microphone by yourself. And Beautycounter is not lonely work. You can chat with as many people as you want. You can get to know people on our team, or, have people sign up and join your team, whatever it is, or you can sit behind your computer and not have that much interaction. It's however you want it to. Some people join for the friendships and the support, and we've got that too on our team. And then I feel like, so consistency, show up and do good work with whatever time that you have. Like, do those things that are going to really move your business forward. Because I will be honest, I've spent many nap times making graphics that doesn't really matter, or scrolling my phone and saying I'm doing work, but I'm not really doing work, which we all are guilty of. But really showing up well with the time that you have, and then keep learning. Just continuously learn about the beauty industry, about like healthy living in general. And you can tie so many things that you're passionate about into Beautycounter. You can share recipes, you can share like food that you're eating, you can share exercise, you can share whatever kind of healthy living things within there, or you don't have to also. And so we will help you as you decide and as you join, like how best, like we will strategize with you how best to start your business, launch your business, and like really hit the ground running with whatever those goals and success looks like to you. Okay. I think that's all I have. What do you want to add in?
I honestly, that covers it. I honestly think it does.
Okay.
Let me check here and see. Okay, I don't see any questions in the Q&A box. If you guys have anything based on what even Meghan just shared, type that in right now. I am going to share a couple that came in just for me personally beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had asked if you're affiliated with another company, is that like a conflict of interest? And no, it's not. Beautycounter doesn't have a policy against, like if you're affiliated with another direct selling company, many people have different channels as like affiliates that they like to use. So that's totally fine.
You do have to check with your other direct sales company, because a lot of them have issues with being in another.
Good point.
Yes. Beautycounter in and of itself is fine as long as you aren't like cross recruiting.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question.
So that's what I have.
Perfect. Well, any other questions, just reach out to us. We're going to send out a follow-up email with some more information and some links in there. But we'd love to set up a phone call, chat with you more. We are here for you. We love this business. I feel like I also feel a little cheesy when I say that, but I like wholeheartedly mean it. It is so fun. And I like oftentimes, well, this is a funny story I will say as this is recording. Natasha, you and I box a lot. And I love that. My husband will be like, is that Natasha Red?
Yeah.
Like, you close to your name. And yes, it is. So you like knows people's voices a little bit, or like, is this such and such? And so it's just been a really like that's so fun too that we get to strategize business. We also get to do some life together. And Natasha and I get to in 3 weeks from today, literally 3 weeks. I looked at my calendar, meet at a leadership conference for Beautycounter, and we get to like meet in person, give each other a hug, and I'm so excited. And so it's just really fun for that too. So that was all I have at the end. Do you have anything else?
That's a perfect way to wrap up. I love it. Come be our friend. Do this business with us. So
yes, it really is. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. It was so fun. And just thanks for spending your time with us.
bye, guys.
Bye.